And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the newly minted show, the Felix, Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau here in the Love and Stuff community. Thank you guys for showing up and coming out and supporting us this morning. Whether you're watching it live now with us here or whether you get a chance to come back and watch it a little later, we're just glad to have everybody here to come in and support us. And of course, speaking of support, let's start off by the big thing here, Gratefulness Journey, every day with Mr. Marcus Holmes, with all his letters behind his name that he earned, and such a wonderful young man. And he's on this Gratefulness Journey. He looked like he started again, and gotta love that picture, man. I love that picture. My camera's backwards, so I can look into it, but it shows backwards, so I gotta make sure it's like being in the green screen almost. So I gotta make sure I point in the right direction. So make sure we get out and get this book right on Amazon. I'm pretty sure he's going to share the link again with us. If not, just go to Amazon, put in his name, Marcus Holmes, follow Marcus Holmes in the book. You put in Gratefulness Journey, it comes right on up. And let's get that book and let's support this young man and let's better ourselves actually with the book, with being gratefulness, being grateful, and how much that can change your life. Not worrying about what you don't have, worrying about what you do have. Being grateful with what you do have. That's the best way to put it. And just thank you and good morning, everybody. And here we are on a pre-Easter Eve. It's Easter. It's the Saturday before Easter. And for those who are who understand the Bible and been to church and been to Sunday school, the preacher he was giving a Saturday sermon. He would say that Jesus is down in hell, kicking a lot of butt right now. And so we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna say thank you and amen to that. If you believe it, you just know that this is what's going on right now. To them demons getting beat on pre-Easter Sunday.
Right.
All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Bracket parent standings. Of course, I'm still in second place with two of my number one teams going down, which is going to lead to our first topic. Actually, we're going to go ahead and congratulate really quickly again the person this young man who is in first place right now. I had it right here on the screen. That's the fun part about doing stuff like this. You have it, you look at it, and be gone. Mr. Ryan Peoples is in first place right now with 69 overall points. I have 63. He can score up to 117 depending on if his number one teams continue to stay in the bracket. And he has made 37 correct picks. I have made 34. But my number one picks, two of my number one picks are out right now. He's in the driver's seat, still having Gonzaga and Baylor in there, but his Alabama and Illinois are out, I should say. And when we get the predictions, we'll talk about that. But we got two great teams that we have spoken of highly so far, and they're still there. My Michigan team lost last week. My Illinois team lost in the first weekend. My picks, and I'm waiting on Miss Felix is chomping at the bit. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I told you. No, I told you. They look. Kudos to Juwan. He did his thing. Coach of the year. He did his thing. Everything. But I told you. No. Maybe you know what? They got the number one recruiting class coming next year. So we got good things to look at in Ann Arbor. But here comes football season, so they about to have another bad taste in their mouth.
Well, football will have they should be at least 2 to 3 games above 500. Honestly, no, seriously, they should. I don't see why they shouldn't. And even with the quarterback situation the way it is, we talk about
they got a new team or something.
They do need one. We don't even know who the quarterback is right now, but they're gonna do something. I have faith in Harbaugh that he finds a way to be at least above 500, except for this year. But this year was an anomaly for the entire country.
They suited up and played. See, you can't use that excuse. They suited up and played. You shouldn't have played. If you felt the pandemic was going to cost your record or make it not was satisfactory to your fans or whatever, you shouldn't have suited up and played. They had the chance. They could have opted out. Nah, you can't get off that easy, come on. No,
Here's why I say that. Here's why I say that. I give him a pass. I'm trying to be nice.
Right.
Two, and here's why. In the beginning, I'm pretty sure he knew what he had. But when they went out that first game on national TV and jumped on them boys like that, the team that was ranked at the time, and all of a sudden that press came in, it's hard to stop that snowball once it stopped. And when they started playing bad afterwards, it was hard to the wolf was already out of the gate, so to
Okay,
speak.
but look at this. If you're a Michigan fan or if you're a Michigan alumni, this man came in and took them almost to the championship game his first year. This man been here, going on 6 years? You can't even go to the Big Ten championship. There's no excuse for that, sir. No excuse.
I got to a conversation with a gentleman just this past week, and he was saying, I'm almost ready for him to go, but the main question, like everybody else, is who's going to take his place? Are we really going to find somebody who's going to be a quote unquote Michigan man and is going to have that kind of a impact in terms of recruiting? Even though they recruit like crazy, sending a bunch of kids to the league, but the record does not show.
Look at all the kids that's transferred. You losing a transfer like every day, so it's something that ain't happening in Ann Arbor. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's a nationwide thing. And for many years,
it's time for him to go. The writing been on the wall. It's time for him to go.
The program has kids transferring.
Come on, he's just a name. He's like Lou Holtz. He's just a name.
But I'm glad that transfer portal's there because I remember being in school talking to cats. Man, I can't stand Saban. I got to get up out of here. He talked to us like we dogs and blah, blah, blah. I know we the Spartan dogs. We talk down to us like we nobody.
Right.
And now they have that opportunity to make that change. A lot of these people, a lot of schools will, a lot of these coaches got to change their style, so those kids will want to stay in the fold. Good morning, Mr. Bass. Mr. Robert Bass Holmes, thank you for joining us this morning. And if you have any comments about what we're talking about, feel free to chat us up, and we'll make sure we get you included in what we're talking about. But let's turn it back to the Final Four. Today, Gonzaga, UCLA, Baylor versus Houston. You have the West Coast versus the Texas connection. I like today's matchups. We have a Gonzaga team who is undefeated, definitely undefeated right now, looking good with their transfers, high level transfer, 2 high level transfers, and the team with the guys full of hair, like we just talked about before. And they doing that thing. They're doing it. Mr. Rutledge, Jerome Rutledge. Same for you, sir. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you chat us up as well. We'll make sure we're responding. And we have UCLA. They are the Pac-10 last holdover. They were originally played in the play-in game against my alma mater, Mr. State Spartans. And I said from the very beginning, whoever came out of that game had an opportunity to go far in the tournament by the way it was set up. I know there were some good teams in that bracket, but for the competition that both teams played and the high level that they did play, I knew they had an opportunity to go to at least the grade 8. And the UCLA parlayed into a Final Four, and I'm very, very proud of that. To see 11 seed, I don't know how is it even happened? An 11 seed go to the Final Four? Has that ever happened?
It just happened.
Who was it?
It just happened. UCLA beat. Who did they beat again?
What was the last time 11?
You got me there. That was a good one. You got me there.
That was off the point.
I know, like I say, I know 2 nights ago it just happened, and that's the best. That's the best. Even though Christmas ain't even here yet, that's the best Christmas gift I already got. Just to see. I told the people I'm going up to Willow Run Airport. If you want to ride with me, I'll stop at White. We can stop at White Castle so we can greet.
You started big trouble. Willow Run the mess with them kids. Miss Moody, thank you for coming in with us today. Thank you, the wonderful actress and teacher. Thank you for coming. So if you have a comment, make sure you jump in. We're talking about Gonzaga and UCLA and that game today. I watched, been trying to keep up more and more with it since we've been doing the show. A lot of the pundits aren't really giving UCLA a chance against Gonzaga, and the way I see it, I don't see why they wouldn't have a chance. They found a way to win those other games. They played their own style. They muddied the game up. They slowed it down and played physical, and they've been successful taking those teams out of what they like to do. And so I know that Gonzaga is an wide open, they running gun, play tough defense, but UCLA plays a different style of tougher defense, and they don't mind putting their elbow on you and making you shoot that free throw.
Right.
And so that's what I like about it. They play a bit of an old school brand where nowadays things are so open. It's run and gun, shoot the three, and Gonzaga loves to do that, but they love to get out and run, and I like that style. But I want to see how these contrasting styles come up against each other today, and see who can impose their will on each other and win that game. I like Gonzaga, I really do. I like UCLA. If I had to pick, I would have to go with Gonzaga, but I don't know because every time I pick somebody, they lose.
Right, we pick somebody, they lose. Well,
So
not necessarily.
maybe if I say I want Gonzaga to win, I should say UCLA should win, and let it be opposite day. What you got on that one?
I'm gonna say Gonzaga because, like I said, UCLA did what I needed them to do. I don't have to hear no fight fight go blue. I don't have to hear none of that. So I'm happy. Look, UCLA did what they were supposed to do, but it's like Cinderella. You got to be home by 12. So it's over. It's going. I think Gonzaga's gonna win it all because Mark Few is an upcoming elite coach. That's the only thing missing from his resume. He didn't been to the championship, and then they make history. They'll be the first team to go undefeated, winning the NCAA title in a pandemic year. What a way to crown it off, But that's why. If I'm a betting man, I put all my chips on Gonzaga. It's his turn. If
I'm putting money on the table, I'm putting money on Gonzaga. I've never been good at looking at eyes 3-1 or 4-5. I always try to say, well, I'm betting straight up and down. I'm gonna pick this team to win. And once we start looking at odds, that's when things get too crazy. And next we have Baylor versus Houston. We have the Texas connection. Baylor and Houston are about 3 hours away from each other. Baylor is in Waco, Texas, and Houston is, of course, in the city of Houston itself.
Okay.
Baylor, famous for having the green and yellow uniforms, where especially with football, where they interchange them up a lot like Oregon does, and they have the loud and the bright, and that attracts the kids nowadays. They want to see that outrageous, outlandishness, and I like to see it. I like to see it. The change. We have to commit to change. We have to embrace the change with everybody with these kids nowadays, because that's what they want to do. They see the bright lights in the big city where we were comfortable with just the primary colors. Not nowadays. These kids want to see it. They want to see it. They want to wear it, and that's they fresh. Fresh to us was a button down shirt and some starched up jeans. Well, they're not wearing them. They wearing skinny jeans. They wearing them down past the behind, which I don't understand.
I don't understand that one either. So I take it you saying Baylor because you got the Baylor logo up front on the thing.
Well, both of them came up. I don't know if you saw the first one. Houston, they're there. The Houston Cougars. Houston Cougars. I love it. Look at that. The Cougars.
Houston. Okay. All right. I see now. I see you. He came from Houston after Baylor. Okay.
Houston's been the first time they've been to the Final Four since the 80s, and it's the first time for Baylor since the 50s.
Wow.
Baylor is the favorite right now, and they play that up and down, helter skelter game. I don't know if you saw the game for them to go to the Final Four. Man,
I caught the tail end. Yeah, I caught the tail end.
The first half was so crazy. It was like a track meet.
Okay.
and they went up 13. That's they were down. They were up 4, and they were down, and they were back up, and it was like no quitting those guys. And it was almost like watching that team Loyola Marymount back in the day, and
Oh,
how
Lord.
in shape they were, how they would get up and down the court like that. It was like watching that team
Okay.
all over again. And they had the defense to match,
Okay.
and they are very athletic. They're very athletic. They get up and down, and they will dunk on you. And
Right.
they don't even stare at you. They just get back on defense.
Okay.
He's like, "Arr," and say,
Right.
"Arr, arr." No, they don't do none of that. They get back
Oh,
on defense, and they come to get you again. And I
okay.
like to see that. But Houston, I'm not very, very, very familiar with them. I'm not gonna lie. I know that they've moved forward, and they're in their Final Four game, and they're very athletic as well. You got to remember, you talk about 2 Southern teams who can get out and play outside and play inside all year round, and that's great. Miss Vicki Johnston Williams, thank you for joining us. Like I said, we want you guys to join in the conversation with us. Miss Felix and I can talk this all day and have a
Yes.
great conversation, but we want you guys to enjoy it with us. Come on in, tell us how you feel. If you think I'm talking about Baylor and I'm saying something wrong, say, I think this about Baylor. If I'm saying something about Houston and you got a comment, Houston. If you want to go back about Gonzaga, we still talking about Gonzaga, and we still talking UCLA. Come on in with us. We want you here with us. We want you to make your opinion known because this is our show. Not just Felix and I, but everybody. We want you to feel welcome here. As long as we're not being argumentative or negative, we want you to join in with us and have a great conversation and enjoy these times because we are in the global community now. I'm in Texas. He's in Detroit. So it's great to have the ability for us both to be able to talk face to face, literally, and not be in the same room. So we want the same thing with you guys. So come on in and enjoy it in. And really quickly, let me plug the book real quick. Gratefulness Journey by Mr. Marcus Holmes. And let me make sure I get that in the camera. Okay, green screen. All righty. See that? Go to Amazon.com and get it on Prime. You can have it in a day or two. Look at that. Look at that young man right there. See that young man? See that young man? Look at that. That great smile. That great smile. All
Marcus.
right. Mr. Marcus. All right. And the reason why I'm messing with him a little bit because this is all his brainchild. Loving stuff is his brainchild, and he's giving us an opportunity to come in here today and on the days that we have the show and talk sports and have some fun and do all these things that we're doing now. And it's because of him. He reached out to both of us and said, "Hey, let's do this." And I said, "Sure," because I
Right.
know at the end of the day, there's no you really can't tell Marcus no. It's almost impossible. Because
Right.
if you tell him no, he'll say, "Hey, what about this?"
Right.
Mr. Simmons, I see Mr. Simmons has a question. Where do you get the book? You get the book on Amazon.com. Of course, Amazon started off as a book hub, so that's what they do best. They sell books. Go to Amazon.com. Type in Gratefulness Journey every day, or you can just put in Marcus Holmes. His name will come up. You'll see him. You can follow him, and then once you follow him, you can purchase the book. I got it, and I got it on Prime, and it came to my house in about a day, almost a day and a half since the time I took care of it. Let's see, Mr. Bilal. Good morning, sir. So you can't tell Marcus no. Now you know you can't tell him no either. You can say no, but he gonna circle back to you, and he gonna find a way. I don't know how he does it, but it's that quiet one-eyed pressure that you don't even know
One
what
eye
it's happening
pressure.
to. It's the look. You sure now? Because we're gonna do
Right.
this on this day. We're gonna need you there, and you can't say no. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Let's see here. All right. Back to Baylor and Houston. I like Baylor in that game. I'm not gonna lie. They're tough. They're tough, and when they work hard and they go after it, they get after it pretty tough. I like them. I like their style.
Taylor logo, man.
You said the logo.
What is
That's
this
that's that's, that's
Taylor
Mr.
logo,
Freeze in the
man?
background, bring the logo up in Houston. Look at
Oh,
that.
man.
That's pretty cool right there. That's that technology, boy. Look at that.
Yeah, that is. You know what? That's that. Yeah, okay, that's that
I
technology.
like that. And Reason why I like
Houston.
Baylor
I do.
is
I
because
like
they
Houston.
get up and they play that tough defense. What you think, Mr. Felix?
I like Houston. The Quentin Grimes kid. I like him. He was at Kansas. He transferred. He transferred Kansas. He transferred from Kansas to Houston. So he was a
That's
former
right.
Jayhawk. But I believe Monday night will be. I believe Monday night will be. If I was a betting man, I would believe Monday night will be. Uh, Let me think on it. No, on the other
Okay.
side, I know it'll be Gonzaga, but that other side, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think Houston has a better chance of beating Baylor than UCLA has a chance of beating Gonzaga.
Okay, that yeah, I'll go. Yeah, yeah.
So we can see either Houston or Baylor in that game against most
Gonzaga.
likely
We both
Gonzaga.
agree it's Gonzaga on the other side. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
All right. Let's see who we have some more people coming in the room. Let's see here. We had. Let's see how can I get back. Okay, there it is. Mr. Darren Smith, Mr. Jason McKinney. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Mr. J. Drill Harvey is here. Thank you for coming in. Like we said, come on and join the conversation with us. This is a sports talk. This is the inside to the barbershop where but we're just not going to use the language that we would normally use at the
right.
barbershop. Come on in. Give us your opinion, how we feel. Tell us how you feel, because we're gonna enjoy ourselves. We got about 40 minutes or so left in this morning show, and we want to hear your opinion so we can talk it out. And when we get to watch the games tonight, so you can see the little stories behind the stories, and that's like the story behind the stories. Mr. Few, Mr. Few is a very accomplished coach. The question every year is he going to stay in Gonzaga? Is
Right.
somebody going to come along and offer that money for that buyout to the school? And is he going to go somewhere? Does he really even want to leave?
Right.
If I'm our Few, no. I'm staying right
Yeah,
there.
I'm saying right there too.
For what you have a captive audience up in the state of Washington. They support you. They're there for you. You can recruit to a place where there's literally nothing going on, and that's a hard thing to do.
Nothing
So
going.
if I'm him, I'm gonna stay right there.
But
He's dug out a niche for himself where he can
right.
be successful, and he's been doing this consistently ever since I can remember. When you start hearing the name Gonzaga, you don't think about it anything else other than men's basketball. So he has done what he set out to do.
Right.
And
And you noticed on the coaching carousel, the coach for Chicago Loyola, he left. He went to he's new. He's
yeah,
now new head coach at the University of Oklahoma
yes,
because
that's right.
Lon Kruger retired, and now they're also searching for a head coach at the University of North Carolina because Roy Williams, who used to coach the University of Kansas, he retired after
We
33
will hold
years.
that just a little bit. We got the coach carousel right after this,
Right.
but I didn't want to put the Oklahoma coach in there just yet because it wasn't quite official, but it looks like it is now. But
Right.
we gonna put that. Miss Autumn Nicole Holmes, is that right? Welcome to the Sports Talk. Welcome to the Sports Talk, and we are glad to have you here. Um, and this young lady has joined us on the other side of the actually come on the screen in the actual Love and Stuff community, and it's a very bright young lady. She holds her own, and I know where she gets it from. So welcome to this morning. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and move forward just a little bit. They've been having the players have been saying they have been using a hashtag not NCAA property. And that's their way of saying, hey, we know that we have scholarships, and we know that we scholarships are taking care of everything, but you guys make so much money, and we really, even though you guys changed laws that says we can work a little bit. We still don't have the time to work, play ball, and go to school. Should they be paid? Mary Rita Neal is watching. Thank you for coming in. Miss Mary Rita Neal, this is Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau. Our topic right now is, should the NCAA be paying the players, male and female, of any sport? That's been an ongoing topic forever. Ever since I can think of, people been saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And for the 30 years, 35 years I've been seriously following sports, it has not happened yet. There's been some tweaks in it to allow for allow them to work and allow for a little bit of a stipend. But in terms of them actually being paid on the level that they probably should, that has not happened. Because then they said at that point they'll become uh, professionals. They lose their amateurism. But when the school owns your likeness and your name, and they're selling your jersey with your name on the back, and they're selling programs with your name on the front, and you pull up to the building, and there's a 30-foot picture of that kid in that school's uniform on the side of the building. If you ever go to any of those campuses, even the smaller schools now, there's pictures. There's the ones that you can put on the flagpole, on the light pole rather, on the side, and
Right.
their pictures are on there. Why are these kids making some of the money from what the schools are making from them? My personal opinion, should they be making a little something? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They say, well, you get shoes, you get clothes, you get to wear the Nike, you get to wear the Adidas. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But they cannot. But they don't want to pay them actual money, and I think that's wrong. I
Okay,
think
so
that
to
I think it's
determine
wrong.
to determine that, because you do make an interesting point. So to determine that, are you going to pay them minimum wage? Because then, okay, besides weightlifting, besides the conditioning, besides okay, the NCAA only allows you so much time to practice.
Mhm.
Being on top of that, conditioning, on top of that, going to class, on top of that, tutoring, on top of that, the travel from the away and the home games. So how you gonna determine what do they make an hour? Should seniors make more than juniors? Should a grad student make more than a transfer student? Should a walk-on make money as much? See, you got to put all that in the Kool-Aid. You can't say you just can't put the sugar in the water. You got to stir it. You got to taste just right. That's why it's going to always be an ongoing battle because it's too many things that got to go into that pitcher of Kool-Aid.
I
Like
agree
if
with
I'm
you
a walk
100%.
on, if I'm a walk on at a D1 school, and you're telling me that you're going to start paying athletes, and the guy that I walked on, I took his spot. Should I be paid more than him? You recruited him. I just walked on and I took his spot. So should
If
I
you
get
take
paid
your
more than him?
spot and you earn a scholarship because of that, yes. But as a regular walk on, if you what they call it, they have what's called a gray shirt, where you come in, get your grades up, and then you get your regular scholarship. I can see if you're in those kind of flux areas, I don't see you may making as much, if anything. But I believe if you are a scholarship player and you're putting in the work and the time, there should be some money that you should be able to make. If the NCAA is making billions and your school is making multi-millions, close to billions every year because what you're doing on the field or on the court, where it's no secret that the football team pays for the science department. The science department has the best Bunsen burners because the football team went to the Rose Bowl. That's how it works. That's how it works out. That's real time trickle down economics. Sport.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying that if I like I said, when I went to the University of Kansas and Marcus could attest to this, I tried out for the actual men's team. I didn't make it, I got cut. But if I would have made it, you think I would have wanted to sit behind Jock Vaughn when I felt I made it? I'm a kid from Detroit, and I walked on the campus and I made it to a D1 high school. I mean a D1 college. I don't want to sit behind him, and I think I'm better than him. I already proved it because I made the team. So
Right.
therefore, if I made the team, how you gonna base me on paying me because you went out to California and recruited Jack Vaughn? But I came in and showed you I'm better than Jack Vaughn. My court awareness, my dribble, my everything. That's where it's gonna be a lot of fallout because then you got kids who gonna transfer. Like it's gonna be a lot. which I think it's gonna stand still. They probably never will get paid because it's going to, like I said, to piggyback on what I said earlier, it's too much that got to go in that pitcher of Kool-Aid.
Now, I understand what you're saying. Now, from a cultural standpoint, everybody makes a contribution to the team that may be a little bit different. Of course, you got guys who hardly ever see the court in a game, but in practice, they are probably more important than the starters because it's their job to learn the system of the other team and run that system against you. So, what that's called a scout team player. The scout team go out there and most colleges have a whole separate set of guys who are the scout team all together. Even the top 12 who actually have scholarships, most part, maybe two of those guys are part of the scout team, where they'll have 12 guys out there practicing. That's on the record team, and they'll have another 7 to 10 who are scout team players who is their job to learn what the other team is doing and put it into play. And that's in basketball. And in football, there's just as many as well. The scout teams are 25 to 30 guys, non-scholarship players who go out there on a daily basis and get the other team ready. Really quickly, I have Marion Rita Neal, Indra Singh Bista, and Eric Powell has joined us. Good morning. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us on Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau. And we're talking about is it feasible for players in college to be paid money, seeing the amount of money being made by the NCAA and their college institutions, whether it be private universities or public. Right now, I'm on the side of yes. Ms. Felix on the side of probably yes, but how do we make that? How does that look, basically? And I agree with what he's saying. Does a starter make more than somebody who's a non-starter? Does a scout team player make anything at all? Does a non-scholarship player make anything? Does a grad assistant make anything? Does a grad transfer make anything? Because oftentimes a grad transfer, he'll have 1 year eligibility left, and he can transfer. He can get his own way through his grant loans, and then that'll have to count against the pot for the school, because there's a certain amount of money that are available for scholarship every year, and that's how they determine who gets the scholarships. Okay, say for instance the pool is $350,000, because every year you're looking at what 20 to 25,000 per student. So that's what. If I'm just saying that is that a good number? So 25,000 times 12, whatever that works out to be. Let me see here. Let me get my trusty dusty calculator to see how close that was that number.
Right.
300,000. So you're looking at 300,000 approximately, and that's just in scholarship money.
That's a lot of money.
That's before books. That's before housing. So all that has to be put into that pool. And so that those kids are getting that much every year, paid for them. Me, I'm struggling. I got still student loans. We fighting every week. I'm still talking to people about money that I paid them and records and stuff I need to get straightened out because they don't want to. Well, that's a whole other story for another day. We're not gonna go there. I don't want to get mad. Good morning, Mr. Ernest Evans. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us today on Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau. I think that there has to be a way. There has to be a way because what is the NCAA doing with that money? They pay
well, you got to look at it. Okay.
Yes, they pay. You got this, I'm talking about when they make billions. This is after they paid the bills. This is after they paid the staff. This is after they paid for the venues and all the security. They're still making that kind of money. So can they afford to pay? Yeah, they can afford to give them, even if it is $1 above minimum wage. Why not? Every day when you come in, you clock your numbers in, and you I'm pretty sure they definitely gonna be on time now for practice. Ain't nobody can be late. You ain't gotta worry about nobody running stadium stairs for being late. You know you're gonna be getting paid for that. You're gonna make your money. You sign in every day. You sign out there in the practice, or after you walk out of bed, after you take a shower or whatever, and then you go to training table. Then you got to go to eat. Then you got to go study table. So I remember my buddies that played on the teams. They would come to the cafeteria and eat with us laugh and joke a little bit. All right, fellas, we got to go to study table, and you better be on time because if you late,
Right.
you better not be late because that's push up the stadium stairs because you got to stay eligible because they have a vested interest in you being where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Oh, all right. Moving. Let's see here. We want to make sure we stay on top of our topics and the coaching movement, which we were talking about a little bit earlier. You led with the coach from Chicago Loyola with the nun who's she's always wears keeps the L for the when you get your Letterman, the Letterman L, and she wears her blanket and her
Oh yeah, she sure does.
I forget the nun, I forget her name, but they always she's famous for them, and they've been very successful. And with success brings other opportunities. So he's now the head coach at the University of Oklahoma.
Yep.
I can't think of his name really right now, but I have Chris Beard is leaving Texas Tech to go to the University of Texas. Who we talked about last time. Shaka Smart left University of Texas to go to Marquette. And Mike Woodson is headed to the University of Indiana, the former head coach of the New York Knicks.
Right.
And the big one, that's Chris Beard right there. And the big one, Roy Williamson.
It's
That's
William. Roy
Mike
William.
that's Mike Woodson right there. He's now the head coach at the University of Indiana, which now makes 4 African Americans in the Big Ten as head coaches, far exceeding all other conferences in the country. And the big one, like I said, is Mr. Roy Williamson retiring. There he is, right there, Mr. Too Cool, right there.
Man,
It's too
Roy
cool.
Williams. No, it's
Williams.
not Williams. It's
Okay,
Williams.
Roy Williams. Formerly, I'm pretty sure Mr. Felix knows him personally. Seen him
No,
maybe
I
try
know.
it out for the
I
can.
don't know him personally. I mean,
I
I've
don't mean
seen
like
him.
buddy,
I
but
mean, I've
you
seen
know,
him in the stands of the tryout when we had tryouts.
he,
I don't know
when
him
they had
personally. We're not
trials like that,
Facebook friends.
barely come in. The head coach barely come in and had him open trials. He may come in at like the end and just all of a sudden the level play just jumps, boy. You'd be surprised when the
Right,
coach can do like that.
right,
They're like, oh,
absolutely.
Coach coming. So I'm gonna do my best so he can see me personally. And I want to see that guy because he's a gosh darn it kind of guy.
Right,
If you put a mic on him, he'll be in the huddle. Gosh darn it, guys, we can play much better than that. And I'm
right,
not gonna belabor the point, but dag nabbit, where you put a microphone on some of the other coaches, you gonna hear beep, beep,
right. Beep. Right.
and he has a way of getting his point across where he doesn't have to curse so much. Really quickly, we want to acknowledge everybody who's here again. We want to make sure we let Mr. Bilal know that we want to know you are in our thoughts and prayers and the passing of your father, and also myself. My father-in-law passed, and I'll be making my way to Detroit tomorrow for those services. So please keep my family in your prayers as well. This is a part of the big thing that we've been having going on for the last year now, going on almost 2 years in terms of the illness and sicknesses. So we want to, I know there's probably a few more people out there we may not know about. So we want to keep your family in prayers as well moving forward. So now back to Mr. Carolina, Mr. Roy Williamson. The big question is, who is going to take his place? Those are huge shoes to fill. When he left Kansas to go to Carolina, it was almost a coup. How? We know that Roy Williamson was started in Carolina, but he's doing so well in Kansas. He has his championship now. What? He's going to Carolina? It was almost like people's heads were exploding. And they are giving him the liberty of choosing his successor. That is almost unheard of.
Absolutely.
Almost unheard of for the head coach who's leaving to say, "You, sir, I trust in you enough to take over my program.
Correct.
Can you do it?" And that's where they are with that. And there's a gentleman that Stephen A. Smith has recommended. He's the head coach at North Carolina Central, which is an HBCU. I can't think of the gentleman's name right now, But he said that he recommends him highly. He says, you got a guy, homegrown, 30 miles from the campus, can recruit the area, very well respected. He's won 60% of his games. Why not think outside the box? So I would have to agree with that. Why not? Why not do it? Go ahead, give that young man a chance. But if you want to look nationally, who can we get right now that would be strong enough to take over that spot? If I'm thinking, I really don't have a lot of candidates. That somebody that would actually leave their program that's doing well to go to Carolina, who's been doing okay lately. They haven't done the greatest, but it's still Carolina. It recruits itself. The Dean Dome is there,
Right.
and crowds are going to be back this fall. You're going to have that crazy crowd support. You got the Tar Heel spirit, and most importantly, Michael Jordan. You can make a phone call for you, recruit that kid, and that kid says, it's almost like Marcus. You can't turn down Michael Jordan.
Right, you can't turn down Mike.
Michael Jordan, you're gonna get him to say, "Hey, young man, I think you'd be a great fit in our powder blue uniforms here at the University of Carolina. You gonna sign that paper on the dot." So, who can you get to come there? Is my question. My if anybody, if I'm thinking anybody would, he probably wouldn't want to go, but it would be so hard to turn down. UCLA coach. That would be my one guy right now. He's hot as fish grease right
Nick
now.
Cronin.
Yeah,
Nick Cronin.
Yeah, I think he's a Southern style. He's a Southern style kind of coach guy. He has that Southern flavor about him. He don't have the all shucks like Roy Williams. But
Nick Cronin.
I,
Are
I,
you
I think
sure?
I think he would be a good fit. I think he would be a good fit. He would go over there. He would bring that toughness back that they need right now. He can recruit them right now. Hey, I just took him over here from my job I had before. Took him to NCAA second round. Job here at UCLA, NCAA Final Four. Come on over here. Let's restore the glory. Let's bring it back. Let's go on down the road and smack Duke upside the head a few times. I think I think honestly, if I'm making a prediction, that would be my prediction. If I had to say something, it wasn't the guy from the HBCU, who as a coach who's strong enough, smart enough right now, who has the juice that you would want to play for.
Okay.
Other than Juwan ain't going to Carolina.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this is crazy. And you already know I do not even like their program. I don't like the school. My cousin is a graduate of the school. You go get Juwan Howard. That's who you go get if you gonna go get someone. You just, right now? I believe if the you just said it, you can't say no to Mike. Think about it. Mike gives him a call and says, "Here's the checkbook. You fill in the numbers. You don't think he gonna? Hey, babe, pack up. We moving the we moving the."
Here's another twist. Really quickly, Ms. Evelyn Graham, thank you for coming in this morning to Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming in. Now, here's the caveat. This is how it works in college sports. UCLA, Michigan, and North Carolina. One of those schools don't jive, and here's why. UCLA is an Adidas school. Michigan and Carolina are Nike schools. Coaches go because of the contracts. Another Nike school will get another Nike coach. So that is a good reason why Juwan Howard would go to Carolina.
Wait, time out. Michigan is not a Nike school. But the football team is not Nike. That's Jordan.
Well, Jordan
North
Brand.
Carolina is Jordan. That's the Jordan brand. Correct. His daughter runs the Jordan brand. That's why I said Juwan would probably go. Here's the checkbook. You fill in the amount. Juwan is going. If he's smart. But I don't think Juwan would leave because I think Juwan wants to go back to the NBA. That's what I think the ultimate goal is. Now, if the right NBA job comes along, he's going to leave.
Yeah,
But
they've already said that some NBA teams have already made
right, if
overtures for
he
him.
if like, and I think to be honest with you, I think he wants the Heat job, but he's waiting on them to get rid of Eric Sproler. I don't think he wants to just like put Pat Riley in that type of that chair to push Eric Sproler. I think he's going to wait, but I think he wants the Miami Heat job.
I agree. I agree. Let's go ahead and put a cap on. Let's revisit our predictions. Gonzaga, UCLA. We both agree with Gonzaga. Baylor, Houston. We both agree that either team can come out of that game easily. I'm gonna stick with Baylor and just be smart and stay Baylor with the uniform.
I'm gonna say Baylor. I say Baylor.
Let's say Baylor. All right, all
I
right.
say Baylor.
Let's. I know we want to give equal time, but we're gonna do our best to really quickly. First of all, gotta get the book. Gotta get the book.
Get the
Gotta
book.
get the book. Pray for this guy. There we go. Mr. Marcus Holmes. Look at that. Look at that smile. Let's see right there. There it is. Look at that smile. Go ahead, go to Amazon.com. The link is in the chat. I can see it. Click on it. Purchase it. It's not an expensive book. Read it. Get your life together. Like Tamar said, get your life. Get your life. We want to get your life together.
Get
Get
your
this
life.
book. All right, moving really quickly to the women's tournament. Last night, Arizona
Oh boy.
beat UConn. Big
Oh,
upset. Big
yes.
upset. Big, huge upset.
Yes.
University of Arizona women's team. Arizona is normally known for the men's team for years. They jumped on UConn, beat them by 10. That is an equivalent of a blowout against UConn.
Right.
UConn,
So yes.
year
Yes.
in, year out, are
They put
doing
the
great
ugly
things.
dog in.
Great, great things. And I'm very proud of the Arizona team. And you could just, I didn't get a chance to see the game, but I saw this from the highlights. Them girls from Arizona have some serious swag going on in the
Yeah.
game and even after the game. And you got to have that kind of heart to play against those teams. I kind of saw it coming. I thought they might have beat Arizona, but
Right.
lose in the championship game because the way they played against Baylor. The Baylor girls really should have gotten that foul call in that
Yes.
play game. That girl
Yeah.
got hammered in that
Yes.
game. She got
Yes.
hammered in that last second. They call it the famous no call. She didn't
Yes.
get that call, and
Phantom
so
call.
so sometimes the karma catch up to you. Look, it caught up a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought it'd be in the next game. And Blue Blood, Stanford 66, South Carolina 65. My Dawn Staley going home. It's okay. Kara Vanderveer,
Yeah, I was kind of
great
hurt with
coach.
that. I was kind of hurt
See,
with that.
like we were talking about before, the Blue Bloods of women's college basketball for years, Stanford, Tennessee, UConn. So you see, Tennessee is not right quite where they were because of the passing of the coach, but they're still a very strong program. They're still in the top two teams in their conference, and they did make it to the tournament again this year.
Yeah.
So Sunday night we have Arizona and Stanford in the big game. What you thought? Who you like in that game?
I like Arizona because they're tough, they
Arizona?
gritty.
I
They
have to
they just
agree.
they just slayed the Dragon and UConn to beat UConn like that. Yeah, they got their A game. I like Arizona, and plus they upcoming
I
too.
agree.
They
I like
upcoming.
Stanford because of nostalgia, but I think right now Arizona has a little bit of an edge. Oftentimes, you either going when you have a big win like that, either you're gonna lay an egg on the next game or you're
Yep.
gonna keep it going. But the
Yep.
swag that they showed and the confidence I showed, I think they're gonna keep moving forward with it,
Mm.
and I think that's gonna be to their to the good for them. All right, moving on to baseball. Baseball has some serious things going on. We're gonna really quickly touch on opening day. Tigers win in the snow in Comerica Park,
Right.
and it's. I always said that I know we have our traditions. I think the tradition should be the northern teams should be playing in the south for the first month or so to try and avoid some of these cold weather games like this.
Right.
I understand that there's some places opening day is always this place, but you're also looking at 30 degrees. I've been to opening day a couple times at Comerica and at Tiger Stadium, and it was never warm. I was always in my coat. I'm shivering, and they come with hot cocoa and hot coffee, and the cocoa
Right.
and the coffee is gone by the second inning, and everybody's sitting up there getting warm with the libations as opposed to coffee, and you literally people don't even know each other, pass around their libations to get a little warm, like you out of the street club
Libation.
and you get so cold. Which
Right.
that's part of the fun. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
You got plenty of teams in the South that have, or some of the other dome teams or teams out west where it's still warm. There's a reason why spring training is in Arizona and in Florida.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Right.
So why not be smart for at least the first 2 to 3 weeks? Give them their first West Coast swing. Northern team. Put them on the South, a Southern swing. Why
Right.
not? Why not be? That's just to me that makes more sense. Because every so often you have a snow game like that in Detroit or Minnesota where it was so bad it was 3 feet of snow. I can remember back in the '80s, 3 feet of snow at Tiger Stadium. No opening day game. They had to postpone the game for 3 weeks. Why not just go ahead and just start it lower and then bring them back make I don't get paid the big bucks. I get paid to do nothing. I'm doing this for free to pontificate. Maybe somebody listening and they would do it. Miss Vicky Gail Beasley, thank you for coming in and joining us. Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau. Our topic right now is spring training. Well, opening day. Opening day. We had which leads into our next thing: controversy in the MLB. The All Star game has been moved out of Georgia. Why, you say? Why? Why they coming out of Georgia? Because of the voting law that was just passed in Georgia to restrict voting with they're asking for more IDs and all kind of crazes like that, and they tried to be slick and tried to trick the businesses to get on board with it.
Wow.
They had a meeting with the Fortune 500 companies, the legislature, and say this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it, and they made it real nice like. And
Okay.
they said, oh, and so then those companies were like, okay. Then behind their back, they switched it and passed it. Well, we already got and then they tried to say we got the love from the companies, and that's why you see companies like Coca-Cola and Delta saying, "Oh no, we were looking for equality all around, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We want you to have equal access to voting." And so then MLB, which is a surprise, came back and said, this is what we're doing. We're going to get you out of here. They
Right.
haven't named where they're going to move the game to, which lets me know that they're looking for them to make some changes. If you make these changes, you make this right, we can keep it there. The whole reason, well, not the whole reason, but one of the main reasons they want to have the All Star game in Georgia this year because it'll be celebrating the passing of Hank Aaron and all his accomplishments in Major League Baseball and the things that he's done in the community, voting rights wise, and just for African Americans and people in general. And so, but they still say they want to have those celebrations at the All Star game, but it would be in whatever city they choose it to be. I was watching the sportscasters yesterday. They said, "Why not take the game to Birmingham, Alabama? Take it where they used to barnstorm at. Since we're doing it in honor of Hank Aaron, let's take it to Birmingham, Alabama." I have a feeling big money always talk and the BS walk.
Right.
State of Georgia gonna make some changes. I know that's the South, and they still flying to this day. They still flying the Confederate flag at Stone Mountain. That much I do know. It's
Okay.
still there,
Okay.
but they're gonna make a change eventually because they want the money.
Right.
Money always talks. They're not so dumb that they're gonna let 300-400 million in tax dollars and tourism for those 3 days. The baseball, the home run derby, the family day, and the game itself. Walk away, but we gonna see it. That's my prediction. You never know what's gonna happen, but I'm I'm glad that MLB made a stand, which leads to my next point. I think it's a token stand, and here's why. They still have not ever said anything about the Atlanta Braves
Right. Correct.
or the Cleveland Indians.
Correct.
So that's the first thing that they said. So you want to make changes due to vote laws, but you're not saying anything about these names. Indians for years saying, "Hey, this is offensive to us.
Right.
This is offensive," and so they're saying. So and you see a lot of people wearing shirts that say, "My favorite team is the Cleveland Caucasians," and
Wow.
then people get offended about that. Oh, but we could be the Cleveland Indians or the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
And Cleveland did already say that they started an exploratory committee to come up with a new name. And I don't know if you remember right before the election, our former president attacked Cleveland for doing so, for saying that they want to make that change. Uh, and I'm glad that they have taken the steps towards it. But if you look at the Washington football team,
Right.
that Dan Snyder said for years, I'm never changing my name. And so for him to say, I got a feeling he's gonna keep the Washington football team. I don't see why. I don't see because of the statements that he's made in the past. I know there's a lot of pressure on him for a lot of money. For a lot of the minority owners are ready to pull out because he won't change the name. Uh, he said, "I'm never gonna change the name." So for him to change to the Washington football team, he's not giving it another name. He's just gonna be the Washington football team. I can see that standing. I can see him doing that. Ms. Lena Brown, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ms. Felix, give me some of your thoughts on what's going on in Major League Baseball with uh, the changing of the game and the name situation. I know I'm running my mouth a lot. I don't want to overstep you. I know you got some thoughts.
Oh,
Felix, go ahead, sir.
that's okay. Nah. Basically, yeah. What you said. It's the money. The money's going to change it. The reason they had to move it like how they had to was because I mean it's ethical wrong. It's ethically wrong, but the money gonna decide it. That's why, like you said, the Washington Redskins, the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, but it's the Washington football team. Daniel Snyder's gonna probably keep it that way because people will start filling the stadium again, or if they have not left. As far as the Cleveland Indians, I mean, that's the thing, though. Now they always been known as the Cleveland Indians. They always been known as the Atlanta Braves. So what are they going to be now? The Atlanta baseball team? The Cleveland baseball team? To
Yeah.
change it, that's a lot, too, to go with it. A lot of
Now,
people are scared to change.
here's the precedent, though. High schools and not all, but most of college went back and changed a lot of team names in the 80s and 90s. A lot of
Man,
teams had racist names and names against like Indians and stuff like that. They went back and changed names.
right,
The high school that was in my old neighborhood. They were the Richland Rebels,
right.
and they had a old school Yosemite Sam as
No,
the
the man,
mascot, and
right.
they just changed their name. And our substitute taught there, and that's not the first time they've had changes. It was a way worse. They had the Confederate flag on it and everything once upon a time. And when I
Wow,
saw the Rebels, I'm like, why even play? We know
right,
what it is.
right,
We and so you look at college. Eastern Michigan were the Hurons once upon a time, and now
right.
they're the I can't think, but now, they were the Hurons back in the 80s and early 90s. But they made them. NCAA came in and made a bunch of teams change their name, but they
No,
did not change Florida State Seminoles, and they also did not change the North Carolina Tar Heels.
right.
Tar Heels would say, "Well, no, it was the oil and the fighters and the Civil War. Oh, they were stuck in the tar in the Civil War. Oh, okay, so that's not racist. But hey, maybe at some point, they'll make that change. But I don't see Carolina or Florida State uh, changing those names. A lot of the people in Florida actually stuck up for the Seminole name. They said that they asked them to, much like the Braves with the chop, they asked them
Right.
to stop doing that. They haven't done that in Florida at Florida State.
Right.
But Florida is the Seminole state. That's the name of the state, named after the Seminoles were the tribe of Indians, Native Americans, I should say, excuse me, that held that land throughout that area before, of course, they were uprooted like the rest of them, and bamboos and run amok, just like the rest of us folks around here with these different things. So will that ever change? I hope to see the change happen, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? All right. People, we want to hear from you. Let's see. I'm trying to check and make sure we keep up with the chat so people can come in and say things. Good morning, Mr. Willie Rogers. Good morning, sir. Mr. Detroit Proud and Strong. As we talk about these topics, give us your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking because we want to address you. We want to let you know that this is our show, not just Felix and Kamau talking sports junk, but we want to know how you feel. This is the barbershop without the cussing. This is the barbershop that where we want the women to come in. This is the barbershop that we want the women to be in the front and not in the back where the salon area is and doing more. We want us all encompassed together, talking sports. Women love sports and know sports just as much as we do. Jamel Hill, the young lady I went to school with at Michigan State, she and I are kind of cool. She can tell you sports better than anybody I know. She can tell you history. She can tell you she earned everything she's ever done in the sports realm because she knows very knowledgeable. She knows what she's talking about. So come on in, women. Come on in, guys. Bring your old lady with you. Bring your daughters. If you got daughters playing youth sports, come bring them to the show. We want to encompass everybody. We have lots of things that we're going to talk about, lots of stuff going on. And our next show, tentatively, we're looking at the 10th or the 11th, Saturday or Sunday next week, or we may go 2 weeks. We're branding the show. We're bringing it along. We get more people interested in showing up. Today looks like we got the most people so far. So we may look at this time frame. As long as our schedules allow to keep going and doing so. I know my weekends are off so far as of right now. Knock on wood. Who knows what may change in the future. We bid every 4 months. I just got my new schedule. I'm still off on Saturday and Sunday. But you never know what can happen. And Mr. feels like this is a good time frame for him. And if we're getting this many people, or we weren't getting as many people before, we want to trial and error. Let's see if this time frame is better than this time frame. But we want you to come with us. Organically and grow our numbers, have word of mouth, continue to advertise my page, Felix page, the Love and Stuff page. Come on in. The water's warm. We want to have you here. All right. Let's see here. Hopefully, when I come to the city, I can catch up with Mr. Felix. We can do some pictures and put our picture up and get us like some back-to-back stuff, sports talk, and get some graphics and stuff going. Find a young kid and treat them fair with a good fair ways because kids know how to make them graphics. I don't know how they do it, where they learn it from, but you say if you just tell them a quick idea, they'll be talking to you and put it together. Bam! You took you 2 hours to figure out how to change the color. they get that stuff together. So we're gonna keep doing our part on our side, making the show better. Thank you everybody for coming in. We're gonna go ahead one more time before we go. Got to plug the book. Gratefulness every day. Mr. Marcus Holmes wrote this book, Gratefulness Journey Every Day. Excuse me. Get the book, get your life together. Be grateful for what you have and not worry about what you don't have. Because there's always a lot of people out there who don't have quite as much as you. And I have to remind myself that every day. And my family's here, and I'm happy and I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to have them. I fuss a bunch all the time about them doing different stuff because you want them to get better, and you have to shake things up. Things don't just get better. You have to make sure that things get better because you set the standard. And we set a standard for ourselves here to make our show better for you and everybody. And we want you to continue to come on back. Come on back. And if you have show ideas, send us the show ideas. Hit my inbox. Hit the Love and Stuff inbox. We're open. I'll sit down and take me about an hour and a half to look at all the topics and make sure we tailor it down. I can do this for hours. Me and my big mouth. I generally don't talk a lot. Like when I'm just around the house. But you get me going on sports. I can do this all day. So thank you guys for coming out on this Easter Eve. Jesus is still down and Hades kicking some butt. He in the middle of the fiery lake. He dropping elbows like Dusty Rhodes, and he throwing people around like the Hulk, and he choking them out like the junkyard dog. And so tomorrow morning when he rises again, make sure you go to church and let the preacher finish that, because I'm just gonna give you a little preview of what you're gonna hear tomorrow. So God bless everybody. Thank you, Mr. Felix. Thank you, Mr. Holmes in the background over there. Mr. Marcus, we're going to get out everybody's way on a beautiful Saturday. Go and enjoy your family, enjoy yourself. Even if you just put your feet up on the couch and watch something on TV that you've been planning to do, enjoy yourself, relax, and just, if you got to go to work, love work today. Love what you're doing at work. Thank you guys for all you do. And we're going to get out of here.
All right.